Bismillahi wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Amma ba'du. Welcome once again to a new episode of Islam 101. Today we're going to deal, inshallah, and discuss the issue of the woman in Al-Islam, the position of the woman in Al-Islam, and how Al-Islam has come to liberate the woman, the true liberation, and how it has given to her rights that no other religion has given to her, and no other judging system or political system has even given to her. The Messenger of Allah, Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, he was sure to deal with the liberation of the woman because prior to him coming to the environment in which he was sent to, the woman was reduced to being nothing other than lower than an animal or something similar to a piece of furniture even. She had no rights and she had no say. She had no say as to who she would marry. She had no say as to the fact that if she was in a marriage that she wanted to get out of, she couldn't get out of that particular marriage. Not only that, but they were guilty of the heinous crime of burying their women, their girls alive. If the mother of a particular child delivered a girl baby, a female infant, the father, his brother, his grandfather would immediately take the child before the mother could even hold the child and go out in the desert and dig a hole and put the child in the hole and cover the child up where the child would be buried alive for no crime other than because of her sex. Prophet Muhammad came, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, and he gave us a lot of instructions as it relates to doing good and being good to the women. He said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Istawsu bin nisa'i khayra. I advise you men, I encourage you men, I order you men to be good to these women, to be good to all of the women of our community. No matter who the woman is and no matter what role she's playing in the community, in the society, then it's valuable, it's important. The man wanted to know. He came and he asked, O Messenger of Allah, out of all of the people who are connected to me, my workmates, my colleagues, out of all of the people, my relatives, everyone, which human being has more rights for me to take care of her, to look after her, to be kind to her? He said, your mother. The man said, okay, I got that, I understand that. And then after her, who? He said, your mother, the second time. Okay. And then after her, who? Your mother, the third time. And then after her, who? And then he mentioned the father. And then after the father, the sister. And then after the sister, the brother. So this is a clear indication of how Prophet Muhammad came with a religion and with a systematic law in the religion of Al-Islam that guarantees and secures the rights of the women in Al-Islam. He says, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, inni uharriju ad-da'ifain al-mar'atu wal-nisa wal-yatim. Verily, I am disturbed and I am concerned about taking care of the rights of the two weak people in our society. Who are they? The first one, he said, I'm concerned about taking care of the rights of the woman. Many times she is physically weaker than the men, and as a result of that, her rights are trampled upon and stolen from her, and they're not given to her in certain societies. And I don't know a society in this world except that women are oppressed. And the only religion that I know in which women are given full rights despite their sex is Al-Islam. So today we find that the woman has been reduced to nothing more than a sex object. If you want to sell something in this society, all you have to do is put a naked woman on the billboard. If you want a show on TV that's going to be popular, all you have to do is put on the set a group of women who are naked and who are showing themselves. If you want a song that the people are going to buy, then all you have to do is make a video of a woman who is dressed in a way in which she's prancing around, showing off her beauty. This is the Western society. And unfortunately, it's not just in the West. This disease has crept into the Muslim world as well. But in the religion of Al-Islam, with Al-Islam being the example and Prophet Muhammad being the one who is the explainer and the one who makes clear what this Quran is saying, we have too many indications of how the woman has been given so many rights in the religion of Al-Islam. An example of those rights. In the Quran, Allah made it clear when He said to the men and the women, لا تتمنوا ما فضل الله به بعضكم على بعض. None of you should choose and desire to be like the other sex. Allah has favored men with certain things, and He has favored women with certain things. They have roles that are unique to them. A man being a man, he has certain roles. A woman being a woman, she has certain roles. So the man should never desire to be a woman, nor should a woman ever desire to be a man. Both of them are perfect in the unique way that they have been created. So men should be men and women should be women. As it relates to the woman, it's similar to the sickle. And the sickle is that utensil that's used to cut down the wheat. It is that utensil that is on the Russian flag, the sickle. You go into the field and you cut the wheat down. It's crooked. It goes in a shape like that. It's not straight like a sword, but in its crookedness is its usefulness. In its crookedness is its usefulness. So the woman in her creation, she has certain deficiencies. There's no doubt about that. She has certain deficiencies that men don't have. But those deficiencies do not disqualify her from being a productive member of the society. So women are unique in their role that they have to play, and their role is a valuable role. The Prophet told us, men, in an authentic hadith, that when one of you gets married, he has completed half of his religion. So he should fear Allah in the other half. He should be diligent about being conscious of Allah and giving Allah His rights in the other half. So a man is considered to be incomplete until he gets married to a woman and then she completes him. They are clothing for us and we are clothing for them. So that in of itself shows the importance of a woman. That if you are an individual who does not have a woman in your life, you have ultimately not reached your full potential yet. May Allah make it easy for those of us who are not married to get married, but not just to get married for the sake of getting married, but to get married to that woman who's going to be a cooler to your eye. Or that woman getting married to the man who's going to be her soulmate, and that individual is going to help her to aspire to the great heights that Allah, the Most High, wants for each and every human being. So from some of the examples and the ways that Al-Islam has also honored the woman is that in the religion of Al-Islam, the woman has the right to choose who she wants to get married to. She cannot be forced, nor can she be compelled to get married to a person who is not compatible with her. A man who she is not attracted by. Even if the people try to force her. If you are a woman who's watching this program and your culture is one that says you have to obey your mother or your father or the elders from your community, and you think that that's the religion, I'm telling you right now that there was on a number of examples and occasions during the time of Rasulullah when people were trying to force their daughters to marry someone else, to marry someone. And that lady would go to Rasulullah and say, Ya Messenger of Allah, they're trying to force me to marry my cousin or force me to marry this person. The Prophet ﷺ would say to that girl, no, you have a right to marry the person who you want to marry. Similar to that is, she can initiate the divorce in Al-Islam. There's a religion in Catholicism, for an example, that the people believe once a person is married, you cannot rent asunder what Allah put together. So you are married for life. But the person could have made a mistake. He chose the wrong person to marry. In Al-Islam, the woman can initiate the divorce. If her husband is a drunkard, if her husband is an abusive husband, if her husband is not productive, he doesn't maintain her, he doesn't provide for her, he doesn't protect her, she has a right to go to the Islamic judge and to seek what is known as a khula. And that is when the woman initiates the divorce. Islam put that right in her hand. Before getting married, even if I wanted to marry a woman, as many of us who were married, we did. Before marrying the woman, she has the right to what is known as a mahr, or a dowry, where you have to give her something with a monetary value. It's up to her to forego it if she wants, but she has the right that the man gives her money or something that has a monetary value connected to it. And this is not the husband paying for her to be married. It is a token of his appreciation. It is Islam's way of symbolically saying to this woman, you mean a lot. And the fact that I'm going to be able to be secluded with you and I'm going to be put in a position where I'm empowered to enjoy your companionship and your company, I want to give you this particular property or money as a token of my appreciation. Which other religion does that for the woman? At the time of getting married, it is an obligation upon the man to give her some type of a gift. And that gift can be $5,000, $10,000, $100,000, depending upon the condition of the man and the ability of the man, and depending upon what the girl and her family are requesting. Any girl in Islam, no matter how rich or how poor, when the suitor comes to marry her, she can say, her father can say, I'll marry you under the condition that my dowry is $20,000. That's her rights. I'm not encouraging her to do that, and I'm not saying that she should do that, but that is her right. If the man can't meet that demand, then he can't marry that particular woman. What religion in the world gives the woman that type of power? Only the religion of Islam. In addition to that, from what we see in terms of the legislation of Islam, is the fact that the woman, she has been given a surah of the Quran that was revealed, a whole chapter of the Quran that is entitled Surah An-Nisa, the chapter of the women. And in that particular chapter, there are laws that are exclusively taking care of the rights of the woman, like laws that ensure and guarantee what she's going to receive from the estate of her deceased husband. She gets a certain amount no matter what, depending upon who is also left behind from the descendants and the relatives of the deceased, in particular his children. But the woman has a guaranteed portion that she gets from what is known as the irth, or the inheritance of the one who has died. That may not be something that is necessarily peculiar or unique to the religion of Islam, because other people inherit in other religions and in other cultures. But in what other religion is there a systematic law that defines in detail the woman, she gets this much of her deceased husband's estate, no matter how much he left back, according to who else is going to be sharing with her in that particular estate. So those are some of the clear examples of how Islam has come, and it has liberated the woman, and it has given her a number of rights that no other way of life and no other religion has done. So before continuing, maybe our students on the panel, they have some questions, they have some comments. So if that is the case, we want to give you an opportunity to say what you have. You have anything, Afi?
Yes, I have a question. Concerning the feminist movement that we find nowadays, they claim that Islam deprived the woman from her own rights, claiming that the female has the half of the share of man concerning the issue of inheritance. And another issue that they claimed concerning that is the plural marriage or polygamy. What do you think? Do I have the right to say that? Or
concerning the feminist movement, we're going to deal with their issue, inshallah, in a bit of detail when we come back from the break. And it is a deep subject that really it needs another episode altogether. But we do our best in terms of just trying to deal with what we can deal with according to what we're permitted to do from the time. So we'll be right back, inshallah, for the second half of this particular episode, Women in the Religion of Islam. Hope to see you then.
Islam 101.
Ark of Noah.
We're going to be mentioning the significance of the Ark of Noah.
Knowledge is the essence of everything. Once you get the knowledge, then it generates the desire and the motivation, and then it brings about the action.
And we're going to be discussing the state of the Ummah and the division which unfortunately has appeared in it, and the methodology of trying to arrive at the right path.
Your system of knowledge or your system of motivation are hit by any of these threats, you will definitely go astray and you will be suffering from a disease in the heart.
We're also going to be discussing what Allah wants from us.
How can we make that? Allah gave us the revelation. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing first and foremost the companions. If they believe in what you have believed in, then they are guided. So the real guidance is what the Prophet ﷺ and the companions were upon.
Join Sheikh Mutassim in the program Ark of Noah and discover the answers to these questions.
Islam 101.
Welcome back to Islam 101, our second segment concerning the topic of women in Al-Islam. Before the break, the question was posed, how do we look at and how do we understand the position of the feminists in the world today who say that women are oppressed in Al-Islam, that she doesn't have rights and so forth and so on. We say that Al-Islam has no problem, and a Muslim man shouldn't have any problem with having a strong wife, educated, productive. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem with the feminist movement is that they don't stay in the middle course. Many times, feminists, they want to become men. They actually want to become men. They're not satisfied with the sex that they've been created in, nor are they satisfied with the role that Allah, their creator, has designated for them. So this is one of their big problems. And unfortunately, their call, their claim has infected and infested the minds and the hearts of certain Muslim women who want to be free. In actuality, you are not free when you think like that. What you are doing is you are putting yourself in the bonds and in the chains of a concept that is satanic. Look at one of the greatest women in Al-Islam, if not the single greatest woman, and she is our mother, Khadija, the daughter of Khuwaylid, who was the first wife of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She was an extremely strong woman. She was very wealthy. She was a businesswoman. She was very supportive of her husband. She was well known in her community as being a personality that should have been respected and even reckoned with. But yet, despite all of that power in her personality and in her ability with the money that she was blessed with, despite all of that, we find her knowing her role. She didn't want to compete with the men. She didn't want to compete with her husband. Instead, she was satisfied to be supportive of the Prophet ﷺ in almost everything that we can possibly think of when we read about the history of Rasulullah's marriage to her. Not in almost everything, but in everything that you can possibly think of. So there's nothing wrong with a woman being educated and being strong, whether it's in her personality or other than that. Our mother Aisha was a strong woman, was an educated woman. But never do we see her trying to take on the role of being the imam or the leader of the community. She wants to lead the salat in the community. So this concept and the statement of the feminists, it is an idea that has been concocted and a plot that was made up by the enemies of mankind to take the woman out of the homes, which is the proper place of the woman. And when she does come out into the society, she comes out in a way that is honorable, a way that does not compromise her sharaf and her izzah, her honor, and the role that the woman has to play. She is in a high role in the religion of Al-Islam. So the feminists and their concepts, they run counterproductive to what the religion of Al-Islam is saying. Akhi, Osho.
Yes, can I ask, can I marry my father's wife if she have children? If I marry her?
The question of Brother Ushur is concerning a man. He has a father, and his father has multiple wives. His father has his mother and another lady who has children. If his father dies, can that man marry his stepmother? Is that permissible? This is a question that is wide. It comes. Obviously, someone wants to know about it. And it was mentioned in the Quran as well. وَلَا تَنْكِهُ مَا نَكَى آبَاءَكُم مِّنَ النِّسَاءِ إِلَّا مَا قَدْ سَلَفَ. Do not marry the wives of your fathers, except what happened in the past. When this ayat, this verse was revealed, if a man happened to be married to a stepmother, because that was a practice of the people of the times before Rasulullah came to them. If you had your father's wife, your stepmother, and she was your wife, then at that point it was permissible. But after that, once this verse was revealed, it wasn't permissible, and it's not permissible for anyone to marry his stepmother. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam sent one of his companions to deal severely with the man who married his mother, his stepmother. So it is a major crime in the religion of Islam. Under no circumstances can a man marry his father's wife, his stepmother. This is a kabira from the kaba'ir.
I'd like to ask, can a Muslim girl marry a man of another religion?
Can a Muslim woman marry a man of another religion? No, this is not permissible as well. This is not permissible for a Muslim man to marry a woman from another religion. Allah told us in the Quran, وَلَا تُنْكِحُ الْمُشْرِكِينَ حَتَّى يُؤْمِنُوا. Do not marry your daughters or your women off to the disbelieving men. Those people who make polytheism, do not marry them off to those particular men. And he told us the wisdom behind that. In the same ayah, أُولَٰئِكَ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى النَّارِ. Why? Because those people invite them to the hellfire. So normally, under normal circumstances, the man who marries a woman of another religion, if he marries his daughter to the man from another religion, usually that man is going to be the leader of that home. And what he says is usually going to go. And she won't have the ability or the opportunity to manifest her religion. And she may leave Islam altogether. But that's not just for the Muslim woman. The Muslim man also cannot marry women from another religion except women who are from the people who are known in Islam as Ahlul Kitab. A Muslim man can marry a Christian girl or a Jewish girl, a Christian woman or a Jewish woman. That is only if those people are upright. But if they are guilty of committing fornication and adultery, then even in that case, the Muslim man can't marry those people. But the Muslim man cannot marry an atheist. A Muslim man cannot marry a woman who is not from Ahlul Kitab. She may be a Buddhist, she may be a Hindu, she may be a Sikh. Muslim men cannot marry those people, as well as Allah said in the Quran, وَلَا تَنْكِهُ الْمُشْرِكَاتِ حَتَّى يُؤْمِنَّ وَلَا أَمَةٌ مُؤْمِنَةٌ خَيْرٌ مِنْ مُشْرِكَةٍ وَلَوْ أَعْجَبَتْكُمْ. Do not marry the disbelieving women who make shirk, who make polytheism. They ascribe partners to Allah. Do not marry them until they believe. For verily, a believing slave is better than that particular woman. Even though that disbelieving woman may be pleasing to you. She looks beautiful, she comes from a high class, her lineage is high, she has enough money. Whereas the slave girl, she only has faith, but she's a slave girl. She's a girl who's of a different culture, a different color. She's better for you than the one who doesn't have the religion. So Muslim women under no circumstances can marry men from another faith, and Muslim men can marry women from Ahlul Kitab, as long as the Jew or the Christian lady is not a known person who is committing fornication or adultery. Any more questions? Yes. Usama, tfaddal.
So some people claim that the woman is an evil object and she is outcast, and they claim that Allah punished her by pregnancy and menstruation. What do you think? This is true or what?
This concept is a foreign concept to the religion of Islam. This is something that's mentioned in the Bible, that Adam and Eve, Adam was tempted by the devil in the paradise, and he was strong enough and he refrained. And then the devil tempted Eve and she agreed, and she went and she ate from the apple. We don't know anything about an apple. We know that this incident took place just the way it was mentioned, but we don't know anything about an apple. So once Eve ate the apple, she realized what was going on. So she went and she told Adam, look, Adam, eat from the tree. If you eat, we're going to have knowledge. I have knowledge. So Adam was weak in front of Eve. So he succumbed to the whispers of the lady. So after that, the punishment, once they ate the apple, the punishment that Allah gave to them is that Adam received the Adam's apple, this thing in his throat. And he was expelled from the paradise as a punishment. And Eve's punishment was that she would bear children now in pain. This is a concept that's foreign to our religion. Pregnancy is a favor from Allah. Even though it's difficult and a woman goes through difficulty, nonetheless, we look at it as being a tremendous favor of Allah to be able to get pregnant. Just ask any woman who cannot conceive a child. In the religion of Islam, we don't believe in this. There are a number of verses in the Quran, like the long series of supplications of dua in Surah Al-Imran. The believers are making a number of supplications that are mentioned in that particular verse at the end of the third surah. After they made their long dua, their supplications, oh Allah, we heard the one calling and we answered the call, and all of the dua, all of the supplications. Allah said in the next ayat at the end, and your Lord has heard and accepted the supplication of all of you. He has heard the supplication of everyone, and He will not cause to be lost the actions of any of you, whether it is a man or a woman. You are from each other. You are from each other. Men and women, we are with and from each other. Allah said in the Quran, Antum libasun lahunna wa hunna libasun lakum. You men are a covering for those women, and those women are a covering for you. We need women and women need us, but both sexes and both groups, they have their unique and distinct role and responsibility that they have to play. Both groups have to know what the role is that they've been created to play, and then there are not going to be problems. The problems are going to come into existence when a man starts to find himself becoming attracted to another man, and a woman becoming attracted to another woman, or a man becoming attracted to a dog, or a camel, or a horse. This is when the problems begin. So we're going to bring this to an end at this particular time. The woman in Islam is honored, and that's why she wears the hijab. We wish we could have dealt with the issue of the hijab, but we'll do that inshallah in another episode. Take care, and we ask and we pray for your salvation as well as for ours, and may Allah, out of His infinite mercy, bestow upon all of us the light of Al-Islam.
Islam. Islam 101.